The silent duel. In the fog-shrouded clearing where two forest paths converge, they meet, inevitable as death itself. The mist curls around their ankles like spectral hands, grasping at the harbingers of suburban nightmares. The full moon hangs bloated in the sky, a spotlight for nature's most perverse theater. Michael Myers stands motionless, head tilted slightly, kitchen knife catching moonlight in small, hungry flashes. His coveralls, once the uniform of the working class, now an ironic costume for America's most dedicated worker, a tireless harvester of lives. Behind his mask, there is nothing. Not rage, not pleasure, not even madness. Just the void where humanity should be. Across from him, Jason Voorhees, machete in hand, water still dripping from his tattered clothes as though Crystal Lake refuses to release him fully. The hockey mask, meant to protect children at play, now shields the face of childhood corrupted. Steam rises from his massive frame, the unholy fusion of drowned boy and vengeful spirit. Neither speaks, neither needs to. Two embodiments of suburban America's deepest fears, locked in mutual recognition. The abandoned mental patient and the drowned camp counselor's son, both transformed by trauma into unstoppable forces, both born from the sins of the communities that created them, now returning like clockwork to collect their bloody dividends. The crickets fall silent. Even the nocturnal creatures know better than to witness what comes next. Somewhere distant, an owl calls, perhaps a warning, perhaps a eulogy for whoever might stumble upon this unholy communion. They circle slowly, Michael's methodical precision against Jason's brute force, the shape versus the revenant. Haddonfield's boogeyman facing Camp Crystal Lake's guardian of forgotten morality. Their footfalls make no sound. They have transcended such mortal concerns as weight and impact. They are ideas now, concepts given flesh, the inevitability of punishment for sin. The wind whispers through the trees, nature's mocking soundtrack to humanity's violent creations. Leaves scatter between them, crimson and gold, nature's own blood sacrificed to autumn. How fitting that these avatars of death would meet when the world itself is dying, trees shedding their coverings like so many discarded bodies. Michael tilts his head, that curious canine gesture that suggests not confusion, but assessment. Jason's breathing, does he even need to breathe? Grows more labored, the sound echoing wetly behind his mask. They recognize something in each other, kindred spirits in misanthropic violence perhaps. Or maybe they see competition. After all, there are only so many teenagers to go around. The first clash of metal comes without warning, a spark in the darkness as machete meets kitchen knife. The sound rings out like a dinner bell, calling to any foolish enough to investigate. They trade blows with mechanical detachment, two killing machines performing their programmed functions. Michael ducks under a wild swing, slashing at Jason's midsection. The larger killer barely registers the wound, bringing his machete down in an overhead arc that Michael narrowly avoids. Blood spatters onto fallen leaves, indistinguishable from one monster to the other. Do they even bleed like men anymore? Or is it merely for show, another special effect to satisfy the audience's bloodlust? What cosmic joke has brought these specters of cinematic slaughter together? Perhaps the universe has a sense of humor after all. Pit the franchises against each other and watch the box office numbers climb. Two industry titans locked in eternal combat, their bodies regenerating as reliably as their sequels' production budgets. Michael drives his knife into Jason's chest, that same mechanical thrust that has ended so many lives. Jason doesn't flinch, doesn't falter. Instead, he grabs Michael's arm, crushing bones with inhuman strength. The shape pulls back, silent even in pain. No screams, no taunts, no one-liners. A refreshing change in the age of quipping killers and self-aware slashers. Jason's machete finds its mark across Michael's shoulder, cleaving through coverall and flesh with equal ease. Michael staggers back, regarding the wound with detached curiosity. The damage should be debilitating. Should be. But the Myers saga has never much concerned itself with physiology or the limits of human endurance. They separate, circling again. The night deepens around them. Somewhere in the distance, a car passes on a lonely highway. another potential victim, unaware of how close they've come to entering a nightmare. The breeze carries the scent of suburban homes, of barbecues and swimming pools, and all the trappings of middle-class complacency that both killers have devoted their existences to destroying. The irony isn't lost on the forest itself. These men, can they still be called men? Are the products of neglect. Michael, abandoned by society to rot in an institution. Jason, left to drown while counselors pursued their pleasures. Now they return, again and again, to remind society of its failures. The slasher as social critic, the bogeyman as moral philosopher. They lunge simultaneously, weapons extended like grotesque appendages. The collision is seismic, two forces of nature meeting in perfect opposition. Jason's mask cracks slightly. Michael's head snaps back at an unnatural angle. Neither falls, neither can fall. They are held upright by the strings of narrative necessity, puppets dancing for an audience that simultaneously fears and adores them. They cannot die, these two. The audience won't allow it. Torn flesh regenerates, broken bones reset, all for the insatiable appetite of sequels and reboots. How many times has Michael been shot, stabbed, burned, thrown from heights? How often has Jason been hacked, drowned, chained to the bottom of his lake? Death is a revolving door for those profitable enough to warrant resurrection. The battle intensifies, becomes more frenzied. Jason's methodical power against Michael's relentless precision. Trees shudder as bodies slam against them. The ground becomes slick with blood and other fluids. Still, no words are exchanged, no taunts, no threats. Just the business of violence conducted with professional detachment. As dawn breaks, fingers of light penetrate the canopy, illuminating the carnage. The clearing resembles an abattoir, soil soaked black, vegetation shredded, the air thick with the copper scent of blood and the sweeter smell of exposed viscera. They separate, both standing despite impossible injuries. Michael's coveralls hang in tatters, revealing wounds that would have killed any mortal man hours ago. Jason's massive frame is riddled with stab wounds, his mask now askew on his malformed face. They regard each other across the clearing, two titans momentarily sated. No victory, no resolution, just a temporary intermission until the next installment. They back away from each other slowly, returning to their respective territories. Michael to stalk the streets of Haddonfield, Jason to patrol the shores of Crystal Lake. Their purposes unchanged, their methods vindicated by decades of success. The real horror isn't their immortality, it's our endless hunger to see them walk away, ready to kill again. We create these monsters, feed them with our attention and fear, then pretend shock when they refuse to stay buried. They are the shadows of our cultural psyche, the dark reflection of our fascination with violence and punishment. As they vanish into the morning mist, the forest begins to return to life. Birds call hesitantly, small creatures emerge from hiding. The natural order reasserts itself until darkness falls again and the cycle continues. In screening rooms and living rooms across America, we wait for their return, popcorn in hand.